Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Jeff Teaches Programming. In the last video I continued on with our C# Data Grid View example that we've been working on. And a couple things as we get going. First one is, I was getting this error right here, this nullability error. And that error that I was getting was right here. The reason I was getting that was it was having a problem with a possible null. So I looked it up and it wanted me to put a question mark there, meaning that it's possible that that could have been null. As soon as I put that in, that went away. So that error is, or it really was not an error, it was a warning. It's gone. All right. And the second one that was in there was kind of related. It says here that basically what I'm trying to do is get a collection of cells that populate a row, but it says it may or may not be null there. So I had to do a similar thing, and not exactly the same, but a similar thing, and that is if you look in here, what I had to say was otherwise have it be string.empty. As soon as I put those in, the warnings all went away. The program still ran, even with the warnings, but I remember many years ago, when I got my first programming job, one of the first things I was assigned to do was I was given a section of code. It was telephony code back in before the days of cell phones and the like. But I was told by my boss, there's some errors in here, we'd like you to fix those. And it'd be a good way to get you to start to learn the C programming language, not C#, but C, which is what they were using. So I got the errors done, but I noticed when I ran the program, there were the program was many lines long, about 10,000 lines long. There were about 500 warnings. And I asked my boss, I said, well, what about these warnings? Do you want me to get rid of those? And he said, does the program work? And I said, yes. And he said, then leave them the hell alone. Long story short, if you've got warnings, the best time to try to get rid of them is when you first spot them. And that's what I tried doing right here. All right. Now, what we did here, too, just so you know, and you've seen it, we built the data grid view, and we built the button in code. All right. Totally fine thing to do. But to me, it was a little bit, it's kind of neat. But when I do the ones on the other pages, on the other 3 pages, I'm just going to manually put them in. But now notice when we put this in here and we run it, and this is a first for me too, I haven't tried it yet, but create, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to try to put myself in. Jeff Scott, I want to say I live at 123 Main Street in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm going to say that my zip code is 63113. Now I'm going to save it. It may or may not work. Now, I click save. Did it work? Well, the point is, I'm going to go back to the startup. Oh boy, doesn't want to let me go back to the startup. That isn't good. But what I wanted to see here was this. It says a network-related error occurred while establishing a connection. The server was not found or was not accessible. Make sure that the name is correct and the SQL server is configured to allow for remote connections. Well, I'm going to save that error. All right. And what I do want to see, though, this may or may not have worked. And what I mean by that is I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to find, so I'm going to view the SQL Server Object Explorer over here. All right, and I'm going to come over to my DBO person and I'm going to see if it did put the record in or not. It may not have, because there was an error in here. So I'm going to come in here and try to run a query on this. And go to here, new query. And I'm going to say select star from person. And this is kind of a big thing. I mean, do I have anything in there? No. So it did not put the record in. So I'm going to have to figure out what that error is. And I know very, very few lines in here. So what I'm going to do is, rather than fix that right now, which may take some time, I want to go over to my other, the other pages, whatever you call them, that are in here. First of all, I'm going to get rid of this query. Let's say, do you want to save it? No. And I'm going to close this as well. So this one basically is done. There's probably some kind of an error in here. It could be an app.config. It's quite possible that it's in there. You know, local DB MS SQL local, that looks correct. Person DB, that looks correct. Initial catalog is person DB. Integrated security is true. Provider name. It could even be in this line right here. It might be that it doesn't want that line in there. I kind of went back and forth over whether I should put it in or not put it in. Or maybe that should be Microsoft.data.sql client. All right, just for the heck of it, I'm going to try to change that to Microsoft. Soft. Let's see if that does anything. It might not do anything. It might make it worse. Could give me an error when I try doing this now. I don't know. It says that it succeeded, so let's just see if that did anything. Again, it may or may not have. So again, I'll come in here. Let's put in John Smith. He lives at 66 Pine Valley Court in Los Angeles, California, and 55555. I don't know what that would be. I didn't like that I put a blank space in there, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to click Save. I have no idea, again, if it worked or not. I'm going to try to return to startup. Still looks like it's going to give me the same error. Yep. And my guess is if I come back into here and I run the query, I still do not have any records in there yet. So select star from person, run it. My guess is it'll still be empty, and it is. Notice I am getting the fields, so it is building that, but it's not working. So again, I don't want to save that. I'm going to close that. I don't know if having, you know, I'm going to have to, like I said, so what I'll do, this is what I've been doing. All right, is I copy down what the error is. And then I go out and try to debug it. So this says exception user unhandled. Then it's Microsoft.data.sql client.sql exception, a network related or instance specific error occurred while establishing a connection to SQL server. The server was not found or was not accessible. verify that the instance name is correct and that SQL Server is configured to allow remote connections. Provider SQL network interfaces. Error 26 error locating server instance specified. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes copying. C, and then I come into here and I put in C# database error, and I paste the whole thing in. And it says it's not really finding anything. So I'm just going to stop right here. Only had about 10 minutes, I bet. Yeah, 11 minutes. But I'm going to try to figure out what it is. And rather than you having to sit and watch, what I'm going to do too, in fact, maybe I'll do one of them for you right now. So let's go to the, I'm going to stop the, I don't know, is it still running? No, it's not. Let's bring up the next one, which is our read all persons. Okay, so I'm going to make some changes here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that over. I'm going to make a copy of it. And then I'm going to drop in from the toolbox I'm going to drop in a data grid view. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to more automate it than I did before. So this return to startup, that's all fine the way it is. But what I'm going to do here is, oops, not that one. For the return to startup, 297.73 is still fine, but I want the location to be changed to this. Okay, so that fixed that one. This one is just going to be a save. So I'm going to call it btn save. We'll put save on there for the name. Size is already okay. All right. What else do we need here? So for, whoops, I don't know why I keep doing that. So for our save, this is the location. Okay, so that's fixed. Doesn't look like it's totally there. That's a little better. And for this is going to be the data grid view. So this will be DGV. First one was create, so we'll call this read, DGV read. And for the size, there will be the size, and the location is 4018. Location again is 4018. There you go. So that looks a little better. All right. A little easier to make it that way. So file, save all. What I may end up doing, I don't know if I will or not, but what I may end up doing is going back to the original one that I did and commenting out where I created everything by hand and go in and actually just create it like this. So that's this one. File, save all. And next we have update. Again, move that over. Again, make a copy. And again, add a data grid view. All right, this one will be called DGV update. All right, and again, we will do its size and its location. So the size is 714,320. Don't worry about it, it'll be moved in just a second, and the location was like 4018, I believe. Okay, so that one's now fixed. This one, for the startup button, the location should be 37,355. All right, and for the other one, and this is going to again be btn save with the word save on it. Okay, and the location is right there. There's that one. Again, I'm going to move that just a tad. There we go. So it's really 457,355. $57,355. Okay. And then finally, so I'll now do another file, save all. And finally, let's do the delete. So this one will be again save. Probably could say delete right there. You know, I could actually say the operation. So maybe that's better. I don't know, I'm just going to leave it at save for now. Let's bring in our data grid view. This one will be DGV delete. And again, we're doing the same thing we did before. I think now I remember the location was 4018. And the size, I don't remember. 714,320. 714,320, not 32. Okay, now let's get these done. Oops. So let's do that one first. The location is for the return to startup is here. 37,355. There's that one, and let's do the save. The location there is 457,355. Okay, so let's do a file, save all. Now, none of these are going to be operational. None of them are working right now, but what I do want you to see, and again, I think I'm going to remove what we had there for the create, but notice I've got that, and if I return to startup, there's read. There's no code yet, so that's okay. Return to startup update. return to startup delete. All right, so I do have everything set up now. I've got to go and debug this error, and that's going to be it for tonight. But hopefully I'll get back here tomorrow and try to debug this error and see what the heck is going on. Okay, so I'll be back with that soon. Until then, see ya.